Yeah, I was just gonna say, we doubted Snyder's vision for the DC universe. Let's not doubt this vision, okay? Let's get the hashtag going. Let's get the Army of Darkness. Not dark. Sorry, wait, no, Army of What's the title of the movie? I can't remember the title. Haters will
Oh
get
my
like
god,
blood.
unsubscribe.
With your best friends Trey, Sterling, and Matt, the film Schmucks.
Okay. Hey, what's up, everybody? It's the Film Schmucks here. I'm Matt. We got Trey over there. We got Sterling down below. Guys, if you're watching this video and you like what we have to say, or you don't like what we have to say, but it's just dumb enough to want to listen, hit the subscribe button. It helps us out. You'll get the videos as they come out. We're making a lot of new content. We got a lot of new stuff going on. So yeah, hit the subscribe, comment. What did you guys think about it? What do you think about what we think about it? Let us know. The movie we watched this week, Army of the Dead, Zack Snyder's Big Picture on Netflix. This is exclusively Netflix, right? This is a...
It hit theaters too, like some theaters.
Okay. Well, it wasn't in the theaters where I live because I was checking the AMCs.
Yeah, I look for it.
But yeah, I guess we can dive right into it. This movie, I can start this off because I got a good way to start off. From the opening, the opening was a good setup for me because the best way I can describe this is it felt like this movie was Zack Snyder giving an homage to zombie movies because it felt very like self-aware in a lot of ways. I mean the whole opening with like the military has a secret thing, but they're vague about it. Even the music and the couple messing around. I told Christy as soon as it started, I'm like, these two are gonna die having sex. Because if I know my movies, that's what's gonna happen. But it's kind of weird after watching Justice League. We're it's such a contrast because you get this kind of dark superhero movie, and then you have this. It's just a very fun movie. It seems like someone who has this huge budget but wasn't afraid to just have fun with the budget. That's what it felt like to me. So overall for me, it was a little, I wouldn't say hit miss because I didn't have any expectations, but although you could say it was an homage to a lot of like tropes, it got pretty cliche at times. And the biggest downfall to me was that the movie was so utterly predictable that me and Christy just took turns predicting what was happening. Like not as if like, ooh, I wonder if this will happen. It was like, I wish I recorded us because it was down to the T. It was like everything you knew was going to happen in this movie. And that was probably the biggest thing. Now there was enough interesting stuff along the way that I didn't care that much about the cliches. And there actually was some really interesting ideas too. So I'm sure we'll get into those, but.
Yeah, I think there was a lot of aspects that were probably predictable, although there was a couple of things I didn't honestly expect. But overall, to me, this movie, I think it does a lot of things. It's kind of like a B movie in a sense. Like it has kind of the aesthetic of a B movie, but obviously it's a lot better than a B movie because the production value is there. The makeup design is great.
Oh yeah.
There's some great kills in this movie. There's a great sequence in the slot machine area and the casino area that was really, really intense and very well done. The choreography was really good. The shooting and I think Dave Bautista definitely is a good action star for sure. And he has some acting chops. He's not the greatest actor, but he's definitely shown improvement throughout the years. And I'm definitely impressed by that. I think my main downfall of the movie is that it didn't need to be 2.5 hours. I think it could have been 2 hours and you could have told a complete story. And I think it would have been just fine. And that would be the only thing I could think of before I go into more detail about it. But yeah, that's kind of my overall thoughts.
Yeah, you guys kind of hit the bullet to the head on these little It's
Don't cut it.
I
Don't
mean,
cut that.
yeah,
That was good.
yeah. Don't cut that. I mean, yeah, you guys did it. I mean, I agree. I was gonna say that exactly what kind of Sterling was saying. That the biggest kind of negative for a lot of people is it was a little too long, about 15, 20 minutes too long, and I think that goes to the beginning. I'm kind of on the opposite spectrum for to you, Matt. I thought the beginning was a waste of time. I didn't hate it, but because I knew how long it was, and I knew that was one of the biggest, negatives that people came out of this, that it kind of dragged. I'm like, oh yeah, this is a waste. This is a waste. Cool, we get it. You know, you're a hero. You're flipping burgers. You know, cool, whatever. Yeah, yawn. I mean, boring. You could have done that in half the time. And they were so vague with why the daughter hated Batista, and like, but we can assume it. Like, but at the same time, how can you blame the guy for doing what he did? Anyway, so I thought I thought that flopped. That little drama between them, that was a flop. Just jumping into it, I really think this movie it hurt itself by doing the same old thing, like the monster universe with Kong and Godzilla, as well as maybe the Transformers. Matt, I can see Matt.
I'm wondering where you're going with that. I don't know what you mean.
I was trying to look away. Anyway, so with the monster universe and Transformers, well, they kind of kept on, going away from the beginning of their. Well, not even with the monster universe, is way too much of the human element. They're too the human side of it sucked. I mean, Dave Bautista's chops have gotten better. I was very, very impressed with that. I love the action. I love the little stories, like the little flirting between Batista and the other girl. I liked. That's probably about it, there, guys. No, I like the little dynamic between the guy with the chainsaw and the weird guy that unlocks things. I like that dynamic. That was kind of cool. There was a joke that went on a little too far. I forgot what, but most of the time it was cool. It was good. Yeah. And we'll get into it, how he saves them. That was kind of cool. But overall, that human element, just I don't know why. It's Hollywood. We talked about this. I don't know what movie it was. I'm dragging this long. I'm sorry. This is Hollywood. This is big budget. How do you not? We have a history of good movies, and we have a history of bad movies. How do we not know what works and what doesn't work? I know sometimes you swing for the fence, and maybe this was one of them. But come on, try a little harder with getting these stories to work.
Well,
I mean, come on. All right, come at me, stir fry. Let's go. Bring it on. Let's bring out the boxing gloves.
No. This isn't going to be a heated debate, okay? We're not going to put the versus graphic in the thumbnail, okay?
I'm out of here.
No.
What happened?
As soon as I said we're not going to be in a heated debate, you go and run out of here.
Like the coward you are. You can't take the criticism.
Don't you dare put those words in my mouth.
No. But here's what I was going to say. So, is the character work in this movie at the level of a Tarantino film? No, it is not even close to any of the writing skills or any of the character work at all compared to Django Unchained. But I will say, compared to a lot of other popcorn blockbuster type movies like this, I think it's kind of middle of the road. And honestly, considering kind of the aesthetic of this movie, and honestly, this movie I feel like it's almost like a tribute, not just to the zombie genre, but it's also kind of a tribute to Dead Rising, like the video games.
I'm so glad you said that. I kept mentioning this to Christy. I was like, oh, that kind of reminds me of Dead Rising a little. The Vegas thing, I was like, that reminds me of Dead Rising a little bit. And she's like, I don't know what you're talking about. Shut up, you nerd. And then it kept going. And then there were several moments. I mean, we have to point them out real quick. But the time limit 30. You have 90 hours,
Yeah,
96 hours or whatever, however long it was. There's a time limit in Dead Rising, and the moment that was the nail bat was very specific looking. And then those things are vague enough, but the very specific part to me was when he throws the hand and makes the zombie chase it. That's such a particular thing you can do in the Dead Rising video games. So I was like, is Zack Snyder like, a gamer? What's going on here?
Well, that's kind of what I mean.
Apparently.
Like, I could kind of tell where this movie was going as far as kind of the tone it was setting.
Yeah, they set the tone at the beginning.
Yeah, and a lot of it felt like kind of a video game. And so with that in my head, as far as the character work, it was middle of the road, which I feel like is better than most kind of B movies at this point. So that I wasn't too disappointed in that, considering my expectations were like super low.
Well, I want to add to that because I thought something kind of similar, which was, and first of all, I just want to say to anyone listening, if it sounds like we're going to shit on this movie, there's plenty of positive things to say about it. So, don't get off the boat early here. But I was going to say, I think the props I would give it is I am a big horror movie fan, and I like zombie movies. I've watched a lot of them. There's hardly any zombie movies that have really good character moments. So that's probably the thing. Now, in this movie, I totally agree with Trey. Sterling, you said in King Kong versus Godzilla that the human interactions with the little girl and everything were serviceable. To me, they were not serviceable in this movie. You could have cut the daughter stuff out, or at least a lot of it out, and I don't think it would have affected my viewing of the movie at all. And so I do think that was bad. However, the par for zombie movies, particularly, and these kind of, especially this one, which was kind of cheeky and fun, the bar's pretty low for that. I'm not saying that just because the bar is low means that you shouldn't, try better. And like Trey said, this is Hollywood. This is Zack Snyder. You could have done better probably in that department. However, even with all the cliches and certain tropes and certain things with characters and them being picked off slowly and all of that, the execution of everything that happens was so good that I just found myself being so entertained by certain things that were happening that I just kind of forgave a lot of the cheesy, I guess not cheesy, but that's the thing. There's a lot of stuff that could have been cheesy and they did it really well. Like the tiger killing the guy, I think is a good example. We kind of could have predicted that happening. They set it up. He's like, I hate the tiger. We're like, this guy's going to get his comeuppance somehow. The tiger attacks. But the way that they drug it out, where the tiger's just toying with him and slashing him up and stuff, it was just way better than I thought it would have been. And even the fact that they really hold on the thing of his head getting gnawed off, basically.
Oh, yeah.
That was way better than I would have thought. And there was a lot of moments in the movie where my expectations, it went above my expectations as far as here's a cliche thing that's going to happen, or here's some moment that's predictable. And then it would end up being so cool, I would kind of forget.
Yeah, dude, the effects, just the cuts and the blood squirting out of his neck.
Yeah.
And then the final bite of the tiger on his head. Woo! And you just see all the guts kind of fly out. I was like, that was pretty good.
There's
oh, go ahead, Matt. Go ahead.
Well, I was just going to add on one thing. I was going to say the one cheesy death moment in the movie to me that was just a little too much was the girl's head getting twisted backwards. I haven't seen that since 2002. I mean, come on. But
I mean, I didn't think they were going to do that. I thought that was cool.
I didn't think it was expected at all. I'll say that. I was just saying it was a little bit, there's something, it's really hard to twist someone's head backwards without it looking a little cheesy. Now,
their body,
the little extra effect of the collarbone or whatever,
the spine coming out,
it got me back in. You know what I mean? I'm like, here we go. I got you sons of bitches. You got me.
Hey, I'll say this. This movie had better fatalities than Mortal Kombat. changed my mind.
I think you're right. Although the
son
Shaolin, I don't want to get the names wrong. God forbid someone unsubscribe. No, but the guy when he does the razor hat thing,
yeah,
that was so cool. Now
that was
I'm
better
with
than
you,
all
though,
of them
most
combined in this movie.
Yeah, but if you take that one out, then I agree. But
Mister, we're not going to turn this into a versus. He's turning it into a versus.
it's on.
Tug, get over here, or whatever that is. Okay, let's get back on track. All right, what was I?
You were
even
about
gonna
to say
You
something about
son
the
of a gun?
actor who got killed by the tiger.
Oh yeah, thank you for reminding me. Jesus, praise the Lord.
This is off the rails. Shut it down. What's going on here?
my mind's all going everywhere because of that whole thing there, the debacle of change my mind. Anyway, the actor. I'm sorry, people. That
The
actor
dad
that
from
gets
Raising
eaten by
Hope.
that too. No, he's a great villain in whatever he's in. And hey, whoever's watching this, if you guys have watched this show and thought it got cut too short, had a good ending. The show called Life. He was the villain at the end of that show, and I've liked him ever since. Yeah, about a cop that got. You heard of that show? Yeah, so he was a cop that went to prison for 10 years for something he didn't do. Got out and
I did hear about it, but I never saw it.
Carefree life. Anyway, he was the villain. He was great. So whenever I see that's this guy, this actor, don't know his name.
I have to point out. I'm glad you mentioned it because I told Chris, I'm like, that's that guy. He was like the dad in Raising Hope, so he can be a funny comedic actor and he can play it straight, which is really interesting.
Yep.
And
good job.
He was also the lieutenant in or the deputy in No Country for Old Men. I realized because me and Christy just watched that recently. Now I have to say, Sterling, you tell me if you think this is true. Because Christy, she neither confirmed nor denied, so I don't know what her viewpoint was on this. I think that actor looks like Trey a little bit. Am I crazy?
Wait.
I need a side by side. I know we can't do that, but
I'll put a side by side up right now. The audience can see it. Okay.
What was one of his lines? Give me one of his lines. Oh, what was it?
I hate tigers.
A zombie tiger? That's crossing the line.
yeah.
Oh my God. I thought it was in for a minute.
That's crossing the line, bro. When I showed Amanda the trailer, like after I even started watching it, and I saw that line. Oh, I wish I would have found that movie. And when it came to the movie, I'm like, that still works. That's a great line. Like that's crossing the line.
Yeah, exactly.
I like
it worked. I will say this: as far as dialogue, even though it was never great, I can't really think of a lot of standout lines that were like really cheesy. You know, Mortal Kombat had a lot of cheesy lines. This movie, I can't really think of a lot. It kind of worked, you know. As far as that, it was fine, you know.
Well, I feel like that's kind of given with Zack Snyder films. There'll be some jokes kind of sprinkled out the movie, but it never overstays its welcome. It never like goes overboard. I feel like. I mean, he's kind of catered more towards kind of darker tone, which, you know, makes sense. But
yeah, the dark humor. I have to say, I was saying that, you know, the innovation in the movie was interesting. And talking about the dark humor, probably one of my favorite scenes in the movie, if not my favorite, was what's with the look?
It's just true.
You're crazy. You're going loopy, dude.
Comment. I don't wear my ring a lot because I work with my hands and all that. So I look over randomly and behind one of my bucks is my ring. I was gonna say, man, the look at this. I have my ring.
The face you made. You're like, damn it. Anyway,
God.
I gotta wear it now. Dang it.
Got it. All right. Okay.
Where were we?
I was saying, I think.
Off the rails.
Wait, let me get a good pause. So if I do cut it out,
Gotta cut it.
One of my favorite moments of the This is not. This footage is not usable. Now we gotta keep it. Okay.
This is a new.
Let me get back into
What was
it.
your favorite part?
One of my favorite
favorite
scenes in
part?
the movie was whenever they knew there was booby traps, and the guy, because I'm with you. I love the dynamic between. I think Dieter, he's one of the few characters I knew the name. I honestly don't know if I know any other character's name, but Dieter. And then the guy, the Saw guy, they're little, like at first he kind of hates him. And then as it goes on, they kind of like, he leaves him hanging on the fist bump and then later he gets it. I love that. But that whole thing with the three guys down there when they're trying to figure out the booby traps and he just keeps bringing zombies down. Or really two, but that was a great scene because I love it. I love it when they think in movies, sometimes when you can get some of that more playful and innovative ideas using zombies. I just like it when it does stuff you just don't expect. And so that was a really interesting thing where they he heats up the thing in the microwave and then throws it and then watching it just keep getting just hurt in various ways.
And to add to that, Zack could have fallen into that trap a lot of other movies do, and it's a testament to how good he is. Because he's, obviously no director is perfect. Even Spielberg has a flop here and there. That he could have had that go on for 2 or 3 more zombies. I was expecting it to.
Yeah.
So I wish it would have gone one more because it could have been another gag.
Yeah.
But yeah, so he didn't just drag it out. So I appreciated that. Now that you talk about that scene. So.
Yeah, it was very memorable to me just because it was interesting, and I just like when they do something interesting with zombies. And that's the other thing I was going to say about this movie that I really liked. And I'm sure this is hit and miss with people. I really liked the zombies, the alpha zombie thing. I liked the idea that you have the smarter zombies, and I liked that they started almost developing this society in a weird way. Yeah. And I have to say the king zombie, the fact that he made the steel helmet thing so he couldn't get a headshot on him, the staff, the zombie horse with the skull. I mean, that was some cool that stuff. I loved that stuff. I was like, this is so awesome. I liked the zombie army. It reminded me of Army of Darkness a little, but almost but more badass basically.
Yeah.
Isn't this as a sidetrack? Isn't Army of the Dead and Army of Darkness? And back in the day with that actor made 3 of those movies. Wasn't that one of them? Army of the Dead?
Army of Darkness was what it's called.
And there wasn't another Army. Oh, there was Army of Darkness too? Okay, never mind. I thought this was another.
Well, there's Evil Dead, right. Evil Dead 2, and then Army of Darkness. So I think you kind of have both in both titles.
All right, never mind. All right. I do like those movies. But yeah. You know what this reminded me of when they started doing there's a smart zombie. You know what this reminded me of a certain movie that I hate the ending to. Even I guess there's a second ending that I probably love, but a Will Smith movie that came out. Yeah. Who's Will Smith? He's his cool brother.
Will Smith just never got a shot.
Yeah, he never got Eddie Murphy's brother. R.I.P. Never got. He was always before he got.
The Corona got him. We'll miss you, buddy.
Okay, cut that. All right,
cut it.
So, I Am Legend. I watched that movie and I enjoyed that movie up until the last 5 minutes. And I was like, this was the biggest waste of my life. And who gives a squirt of piss that there was a second ending? That should have been the ending. Give me 2 breaks of a Kit Kat bar.
He blew himself up with a grenade.
Yeah.
And then the girls escaped.
And ran with them.
Okay, so let me ask you this, guy. Just remember this. So wasn't it what happened? They released an anniversary edition or something where they added a new ending or something like that?
It's on the DVD, I guess. But
whatever.
Well,
I'm sorry. Yeah.
Yeah, but
I'm not sure if it was an anniversary.
Something like that.
There's a test screening, but yeah.
Whatever. All right, Sterling, Mr. Movie Blog. Knows everything. No, my point
I
is
met half the cast of Breaking Bad. We get it. Insert picture here of you with Jesse. All right.
Hey, it's true.
Anyway, no, forget him. But no. Point being, if you guys seen that I Am Legend.
Yeah, I'm
Yes,
actually
yes.
100%
Okay.
on board with what you're saying. And I actually thought
So
of I Am
anyway,
Legend in the movie too.
yeah, so I'm glad I got in there because usually you guys take my ideas and it's okay. I love you guys. But I Am Legend. In the end they're smart. All she wanted was the girl, which was another part of it where they had a queen. He had
Yeah.
So I really kind of okay, there was another little callback, if you will. So I'm like, cool. Like you said, there were slow, stupid zombies like we've always been portrayed, and I guess
Mhm.
World War Z has them real fast, I guess.
Yeah.
And then the fast, crazy ones,
There's been some
So
fast zombie movies, but you're right. We get kind of either fast, we get slow zombies or fast zombies, but it's rare that you get the smart zombies in movies. That's pretty rare.
mhm.
Because I
Yeah.
think it's because
So
it's
I
hard to
think,
do in a clever way. But I like the
Yeah.
idea that they did, the way they did it in this movie was great. They left it vague enough that because I think if they tried to explain too much, we would have been like, what's the logic here? But the fact that they kept it vague enough that it's like, we kind of just understood what was happening. And we're still wondering, well, where did the alpha zombie come from? Was it a military test experiment? What's going on?
Dog tags on.
But it was immediately, yeah. Well, it was immediately intriguing how they kind of introduced the whole society whenever the asshole security guard gets shot in the leg, and he's given as a trade-off.
Yeah.
I was like, whoa,
that
wait,
was crazy.
Yeah, that was crazy. I didn't expect that, and it was just kind of interesting. Like that's kind of how they got safe passage throughout the whole.
And let me
city.
ask you this: speaking of comparisons, I don't know why. I think it's just because I was just talking to Christy about rewatching these, but something about it was giving me like Dawn of the Planet of the Apes vibes a little bit. I don't know why, but it was making me think a little bit of like,
Well,
you have these two societies separated, and they're getting smarter. It reminded me a little bit of it.
well, the shot of the Alpha on the Statue of Liberty, definitely kind of evoked that imagery.
And then when he's on the horse and everything, I don't know. I just kept thinking of Caesar. So
yeah,
it's good.
he looked like an orc, in kind
he
of
looked
a
like
weird way.
Urukai, or something. Yeah, I noticed that too. Is the makeup, I guess.
Yeah,
Man flesh.
Which makes a lot of difference in this kind of movie.
Oh yeah.
Just the makeup overall, like obviously you would expect to have good effects in a big budget movie like this, but credit where credit is due. Like they nailed the effects pretty much in every way I can think of. So,
and I've talked about. I don't know if I've talked about this on another film Schmucks, but there was a period that was happening in Hollywood movies, and I'll even say this: John Wick fell victim of this, although not as big of a deal in John Wick because, well, let me explain. But once we started getting the artificial blood spurts in movies and blood being sprayed onto walls, there was a certain era of movies, like action movies, where we weren't seeing any practical effects in movies anymore. I talked about this in the Nobody review, I think. And I don't know what happened lately where, like I said, in John Wick, nothing wrong with John Wick. It works in John Wick because John Wick is just a very fast, sleek killer. But in movies where you're trying to show more gore, it just looks better if you're using practical effects. However, I think CGI has finally gotten to a point where the mix of the two finally works really well. It's not super noticeable when it changes from CGI to practical. It looks pretty seamless. The tiger biting the guy's head off looked really great. A lot of the CGI in this movie and the blood and everything looked really good. And the practical effects were cool. I don't know how much of it was practical, but that's a testament to how good the CGI was, because there was times where I couldn't tell whether it was CGI or a practical effect. So,
yeah. One little nitpick of mine.
Here we go.
Whoa, he's got a nitpick, eh?
So for the most part, the cinematography was pretty good. But there was one aspect of it that I kind of thought was overdone a little bit. I don't know if you guys noticed, but there was quite a few shots where something would be out of focus, and you wouldn't expect it to be out of focus in certain places in the movie. And I feel like I think sometimes it works, because it's kind of interesting to look at sometimes. So you don't really see it that often.
Yeah.
But sometimes, a face will be in focus, and then the face will go out of focus, and then it'll hold on to that shot, I think, for a little bit too long.
Yeah.
And I kind of noticed that. I noticed he used the same technique in the nightmare sequence of Justice League too.
Yeah, I was like, did he film Army of the Dead in his driveway too? What the heck?
I mean, I thought they like I agree that they way overdid it with the beginning when they first enter in the Queen smart one zombie. They did it all the time with her. I'm like way too many times. I thought.
Yeah. That's just something I noticed.
Yeah, I noticed that too. It was a little much, especially in those dialogue. And I think you're totally right, especially when they were showing the Queen, the noises she made sounded a lot like the raptors from Jurassic Park. I don't know what it was. Yeah, but that whole sacrifice thing was cool. Oh, I guess the one thing this is the one thing I truly did not expect. When he carries the body of the bride inside of the building and pulls a little zombie fetus out, I would not have guessed that in a million years. I was like, what? Whenever I saw him just pull a little baby out, I was like, what the? And in the light, like, that was another thing. Now, I don't know. This was some weird background stuff. Did you notice a lot of the alpha zombies were being shot and there was like blue light in them?
Yeah.
Yes. There was one that was a robot.
I thought so too. I was like, is that a robot? I didn't want to say it because I felt like I was dumb. But there was 2 different times zombies got killed, and I thought I saw sparks. And it's specifically one where she falls against the wall or whatever. You know what I'm talking about?
I noticed that too, but I'm kind of curious. Is it an added effect, or is it
this one did not? It was the one.
It looked robotic, dude.
No, the one I'm talking about was in the casino when they're everything went to hell and they're leaving.
Yeah.
And the guy got bit.
Yeah.
And he shot the zombie that on the ground. Anyway, it was during that scene that I'm talking about, and it was pure machinery.
That's
in
what it
his
looked
skull.
like. Yeah.
Yeah, I rewound it. I showed Amanda. I'm like, does that look like a robot? She's like, yeah. I'm like, what the hell's going on? I'm like, comes full circle. It never did.
Yeah, well, there was one other time where a zombie got shot too. After that, because I know exactly what you're talking about. It was okay. I was for sure like, was that, what the hell was that, like like what's going on? And it was the first time I noticed the blue thing, like the blue eye. And then later there was one other time where a zombie got shot. I think it was, I can't remember what scene now. And it also seemed like a weird spark. And I even think the alpha zombie had blue blood that hit like the ceiling, like something blue in him.
Yep.
And
that was weird too.
Yeah, so I was like, "What? Is he just planting these little seeds to get the conspiracy theorists going?" Because I'm rock hard over here, baby.
Well, I mean, we don't know the origins, of how it happened because they were transporting the alpha, in that truck. So who knows, like what kind of it could be like an amalgamation of organic material and technology, and maybe that's what makes them such a powerful army.
Just that one zombie that we're talking about, that one, for me, that looked like a robot specifically. Because the rest of them look like regular.
But you're right.
But there's that one that wasn't. One that wasn't an alpha. Yeah.
Yeah, and why would there be machine parts in his, like, if let's say there's just one alpha, he bites people. Wait a minute. The alpha bites a zombie and it becomes another alpha zombie. But if one of the king, let's say the king bites a zombie, they become an alpha zombie. The alpha zombie bites someone and they just become a shambler, right?
Something like that.
But why was it there was only a couple of zombies that seemed like, where would the mechanics come from? They're all biological. Even if the main zombie, the king zombie, was a robot, it's not like he's turning other people into robots. I mean, what's going on here?
Yeah, that was weird. I'm glad you brought that up.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, we doubted Snyder's vision for the DC universe. Let's not doubt this vision, okay? Let's get the hashtag going. Let's get the Army of Darkness. Army of what's the title of the movie? I can't remember the title.
He doesn't
Oh
get,
my
like,
god,
blood.
unsubscribe. I unsubscribed as soon as I saw you didn't know the name of the movie. What in the
I
world?
said,
Army of the Dead.
Army of the Dead.
Yeah.
Army of the Dead. Yeah, let's get this.
Jeez.
Well, there's going to be a sequel.
Get your story straight, Bucko.
Yeah,
All right,
sorry.
nitpick. Here's a
I got
nitpick.
Bruce Campbell confused.
I'm gonna take this one too.
I agree with
Here's
you
a
though. Bruce
nitpick.
Campbell in the sequel.
Hell yes. Hoo-wee.
Do it.
Yes. Okay, so 2 nitpicks. First one was
I like the throat clear. I'm about to rip this movie apart.
First one was it was okay for the guy. All right, I thought it was a spur of a moment. The girl's like, "I'm on to you. We're gonna talk about this." He's like, "Okay, screw this chick," and does that, and then
Yeah.
locks her, and later on, right,
Yeah.
locks her. Okay, cool. She dies. Whatever. They should have left it at that because one thing that I just despise in movies, like there was a movie we did recently where like something happened, I just rolled my eyes. Like you had time, like Mortal Kombat, they could have tried to show him attempts to save their brother or whatever. Okay, she comes out, guns blazing, she's badass, right?
I know what you're gonna
she's
say.
awesome. Don't spoil it. So, all right, there's only like 4, they're like 20 feet from her. There's only 4 or 5 between them, and then the rest are behind her. Shoot those 4, let her run and catch up with you. It was so obvious that they could have saved her.
Dude.
It was so obvious. I was so pissed.
Yes.
Or she could have yelled out, "He did it! He
Yes,
did it!" And
exactly.
like, what is going on?
That's exactly
so
what
mad.
me and Christy said. We were like, even the way you did it. He did it. That's what I said too. I'm like, shit, he couldn't yell it out. Hey, that guy's trying to kill me. And then get eaten.
He was on him. Like, what'd you do to her? Where'd she go? She was right behind me. And then she breaks out. So stupid. I hate that in movies. Hate it. I hate it.
Although, can we say, before you get to nitpick 2, I just want to point out.
Okay.
I thought that this chick was gonna lean down to the glow stick and she was just gonna be like and get devoured. She kicked way more ass than I expected. First, the fact that she just killed the first zombie with the knife to shut him up, I was like, damn, that was awesome. And then she keeps stabbing him. And me and Christy were joking. We're like, is it going to be like 10 hours later and it keeps cutting back and she's got a pile of zombies and she just keeps stabbing?
And that's the extra credit scene.
Yeah, that'd be the end credit scene.
I told the man, I'm like, hey, if this keeps on going, it's going to take a while. And that's the exact same thing.
Well,
it's
but
take a while
then it kept going,
Yeah.
and then finally they're all waking up, and then she's shooting them. The guy locks the door. I'm like,
and
damn.
stabbing him.
And then
with a
when
gun
she
in her hand.
Yes, when she busted out of the wall, guns blazing, I was like, this is actually pretty awesome. She's the first person to die. And they instead of it being some lame death where she was like, no, and gets eaten by the zombies. I mean, I guess she did. But the fact that she went guns a-blazing, I was like, I like this movie already just for being, it was John, she was like, she's doing John Wick style stuff. By the way, she was one of the people who said she'd never killed a zombie. It's like, I've never killed anyone. And then it shows her in the kitchen. She's killing everyone.
Yeah.
Liar.
No. I was just going to add to that. Like, and the way she was kicking ass, it made me feel like she was going to make it. And
Well, she should have.
Yeah, see, and you made a good point that she should have just yelled out, "Get that motherfucker! He tried to kill me!" Basically, Yeah, but the way it kind of played with your emotions a little bit. I know, but I'm just saying the way it played with your emotions.
Save her.
And then,
You expect her to die, and so I definitely got more than maybe any other part of the movie, other than the safe cracking part where I was kind of like, you're rooting for Dieter, but I was rooting for her, and that death did matter which is interesting for the first death and the first death of the team, because I was sitting there like, and then when she died, I was like, I hope that guy gets his head eaten by a tiger. All right, before we forget,
I hate that.
nitpick 2.
Oh,
Electric
it's not even
Boogaloo.
that big. It's ooh, Sunny Philadelphia reference. I love it. Electric Boogaloo. So they're teasing the next one, right? Okay, he got scratched. All right, the guy, the chainsaw guy.
He got
He
bit.
gets scratched. But they didn't even tease in that scene when he's battling that he got bit, and he should have. Or this is a bigger nitpick than I thought, boys and girls. How much time has elapsed? The nuke hits. He's dead within hours if he crawls out of there at that point. Okay, that's not real. That's not, I guess it's not reality anyway. But anyway, we all have seen enough nuke movies to know you got to stay underground for a couple weeks so the radiation goes away. Anyway, that's one little mini nitpick. He gets all that money. I'm like, oh, he needs to grab the money. He throws one bag out. I'm like, oh, that's not enough, and he throws the rest. I'm like, okay, badass. You carrying, $5 billion, $10 million with you. Cool. All right. He walks out of the city to a place that didn't get affected by a nuke, which would have taken him a day or two. Right? Gets the car, drives over. One thing I was like really excited about, he's gonna go kill the rich guy because he goes, oh, there's a private plane. He's gonna kill the rich guy. That's the ending. Yes.
Oh yeah.
Cool. All right. He gives her hundreds of thousands of dollars to get the plane. This is days, guys. This isn't hours. This is days. A nuke just hit. I know. I'm going on and on and on.
No, you're blowing my mind here. I didn't think.
If he really got bit, he should have changed
in like 5 minutes.
Days ago.
No,
but it took Batista. Batista took like 15 minutes, 10 minutes, whatever.
Either way,
this is days. Even if it was a half bite. Even if it was a half, because it didn't look like a full bite, and they didn't even show a scene where it was close to him getting bit, like in that area. So that annoyed me too, because they didn't even tease it. Like, oh, he could have gotten bit there if you look back. No, they didn't even show any of that. It wasn't a full bite. Cool. It should have taken a couple hours. No, this is days that he'd been going, at least a full day, to get to an airport, and there's a big nitpick. It turned out to be a bigger nitpick than I thought. He should have turned way before. That's a very bad ending and bad writing on their part.
Well, the only thing I have to ask is, and it's not even clear in the movie, but Batista, like, he died, but he probably shouldn't have died, right? Like, I mean, he was bleeding out, I guess, but I guess he turned as soon as he died. If I'm not mistaken.
He didn't die.
No, he just turned.
He just turned.
I thought, well, he like closed his eyes and like, I don't know. It kind of
his body his body is turning into the new thing.
Okay.
Yeah,
That's not how I interpreted it initially, but whatever.
I didn't think of it as him dying. Hey.
It's the Universe's episode. you made the rules. Don't change them.
Yeah. Just call me a dumbass. Go ahead.
Hey.
What do you say?
I couldn't hear him. I don't know, but I know that it was rude.
Speak English, bub.
You can't even see me.
Okay, Wolverine.
What's your point, Sterling?
No, there's not a point anymore. I thought he died and then instantly turned. But yeah, it's inconsistent. So as far as how
you think that he thinks that they need to die and then they turn. So this guy he needs to die to turn.
Well, now that I'm thinking about it, did they ever show someone turn before they died? I guess they'd have to have, because his wife, like, otherwise.
Wait, the guard, he didn't really die. He got bit and they took him somewhere and he turned. The bar
mitzvah thing.
The bar mitzvah thing.
Yeah. Looked like one heck of a party. Well, let me ask you this, because you're really blowing the can off of my dick here, but
cut that! Got it!
You really
don't cut it!
The doc never did, but
deep cut, baby, deep cut.
Not deep enough, but okay, cut that. So now I forgot my damn point. God damn it. It had something to do with the bites. Oh, okay. Think about this though. The plane. See, I thought that what we were gonna see. I thought we were gonna get a real cliche ending. She, the cop, the helicopter comes and picks her up after she kills Batista. I thought it was gonna show the wreckage of the plane crash, and you were gonna see the alpha zombie like get up or something. if now we know that the main alpha zombie is the only one who can actually turn people into smart zombies. So if now, as far as we know, the only zombie left will be the guy on the plane.
Yeah.
He's only going to be able to turn people into shamblers.
Yeah.
Gary Shamblers. But I cut that joke. I was trying to do a Gary Shandling joke, but anyway. So we don't have the threat of smart zombies in a second movie.
Yeah, that's true.
We just have one smart zombie.
Well, that
true.
kind of opens the door to more questions. Does the alpha zombie, does it take longer for an alpha zombie to fully evolve? Like,
that's
I
true.
don't know.
But
either way, Trey, you are correct in the fact that, as far as we know, just from this one movie, the timing to turn into a zombie is not very clear, and it should have been made probably more clear, as far as those rules. So,
I think it was pretty clear. I mean, they showed, they showed a couple people get, like the people that were getting eaten alive, and that was the first one, wasn't it? Where
the first two guys.
The first two guys, and then
within a minute. Yeah.
They did the Undertaker. So I mean, I thought it was pretty clear. I mean, they got eaten up real quick. They got eaten up pretty bad. Batista got bit once on the shoulder, which I guess is close to the brain, but he didn't get torn up and bitten a couple times, like real bit up like them. So maybe because he didn't get bit up so bad, it took him 5 minutes instead of a minute, like them.
Yeah.
So maybe it's the severity. So maybe because he got a little nibble, the guy in the end, maybe that's why it takes 2 full days to change.
Now that look,
so I guess in that regard, you're right. In that regard, you're right.
It worked for the storytelling, but you're right. In a logical kind of way, that might be nitpick of the month. I'm gonna give the award out right now because that was one good catch.
To me or to him?
No, to you.
Oh, thank you.
Nitpick of the month. That was really good.
I'm going to nitpick that. How about that? I'm going to nitpick the fact that he got the nitpick award. How about that?
Oh my gosh. This is unprecedented. Nobody's ever done this before.
You know what? Put the versus graphic in the thumbnail. Just do it right now.
You know what?
Bring it on.
I'm going to nitpick your nitpick of his nitpick.
Just title the video "Is Sterling a Dumbass" and just be done with it.
Yes. It's over.
Comment below.
Yeah.
Whose nitpick is the most justified?
I wonder if ABIJ will come in and tear him a new one.
And then Nostalgia and Real's going to come in and nitpick that comment.
No, they're going to come team up and take him out. Oh, I love this. This is going to be good.
Oh my gosh, I would never expect that, dude. Nostalgia is Real turns heel.
Yes.
Oh my gosh, that would be the ultimate Schmucks
That'd be awesome.
episode that the fans have been waiting for. Ultimate anime betrayal.
Oh yes.
Okay.
Does anyone else have anything to add? Because I actually have my.
I think we can get to it. Trey, go first. I have something before final thought. One last thing I want to complain about.
Well, I have to say that there are a lot of plot holes, if you will, in this movie, and it was too long. And I know I'm stalling to think of anything else I want to add because there's always a couple things I want to add at the next day when I watch these videos, watch these back. I'm like, I should have said this, should have said that, But Batista did great. I'll give you a little overall here while Matt collects his thoughts. Snyder, God bless him. God bless him and his wife. They've been through a lot. R.I.P. the Snyderverse because AT&T is those dumb mother truckers. Oh my God. Anyway, that's another video, but I digress. But man, we'll get sponsored. No, God bless him. He had fun, just like with James Gunn. I mean, things are on fire over at Disney, so maybe it'll go all to hell again in a couple of years. But he went away, made a bunch of money. He's doing Suicide Squad. That looks great. Now with Snyder, he's having his revenge on everybody. Netflix throwing a bunch of money at him, doing his thing, having fun, and you could see it was fun. I
That's
mean,
the thing. Yeah.
Batista said it was a blast. They all had fun on set. That's what I think. What is lacking in a lot of some movies? Maybe that's another thing that movies don't do enough on set. That it doesn't portray through the screen that they're having fun, and this did, and that's a positive to me. I might watch. I'm not gonna say I won't ever watch the movie again. Like I think I will. I think it's fun. Maybe I'll show my family when I go back home. I mean, it's a fun movie. It is a fun movie. There's enough going for it with the action that it does wash away the negative stuff, if you will, with this plot. I mean, there is some good dialogue here and there, but the action was great, and great job, Batista. Great job, whole crew. It was a fun time watching it. Not in the theater, unfortunately, but it was fun to watch this, and this discussion was great. I mean, there's lots to talk about. I mean, this movie had everything.
All right. Before I do the full
nitpick of a week, here it is.
Here it is. It's not really a nitpick, and you guys might even disagree with me. This might be the real verses here, but it wasn't just the dialogue and the relationship with Batista and Kate. Kate's character not only annoyed me a lot of the time, but here's the problem. The motivations and the reasons for bringing her along never added up to me and annoyed me as the movie went on, because she goes, hey, there's this woman in there. Her kids are alone. I'm supposed to take care of her kids. Why? Why on earth would you not just assume that she's dead? Why do you think in an entire city of Las Vegas that you're going to find one human character in there? And Batista says, hey, if we see her, it's fine, but there's no wandering off, right? And she jeopardizes the whole thing by doing exactly what he asked. The other thing is, and think about this, she says, this mom, she had 2 kids. That's so messed up. Now I got to look after them. And I'm going to go in there too and die. Like, why don't you go watch the kids then if you're so worried about it? It blew my mind that she expected to find the mom in there. And I told Christy right then and there, I said, if they do find the mom, they better find her dead or as a zombie. Because if they come up with some stupid reason why she's alive for some reason, and they never explained at all why that king zombie had 3 people in the room, they never ate. Look, it's not that they're hungry. If they were hungry and they needed to eat, then they would be dead already, because they're not going to be able to survive off of the small amount of people that are sneaking in there. So why did they randomly have 3 out of all the people who have died in there? And became zombies? Why did they have these 3 human characters locked in a room, and they never explain why? He comes in and takes one at one point. And I don't know what he's doing.
And they never explained that one.
Yeah.
They didn't.
And me and Christy were like, they bet. And we already kind of knew it was coming, but we were like, all of that was just to try to have some reason that the daughter comes, because they wanted to do the relationship thing. But to me, that was the biggest thing. I was like, it's so stupid that she decided she needed to go in there to save this girl. And it just didn't make sense that Batista would let her come. It was, anyway, I'm going to get hate in the comments for it, but that was my biggest point.
I totally agree at the beginning, too. Like, she was annoying. And it's funny you say that. Oh, the 2 kids, you got to watch out for them. Oh, she loves her 2 kids. I'm going to leave them, too. That's funny.
Especially in a quarantine zone where apparently there are guards that rape women or something.
Yeah. So... I'm glad that was cool getting him in there. I love how she grabbed him. Like, why are we bringing him? Oh, he's going to carry some stuff. And then right in his knee. I loved it. I mean, great. So, and she leaves, like, they're collecting the money. They're like, oh, where is she? And he freaks out. She knew there was a nuke coming in 20 minutes. What did she expect? That they're going to find them with a helicopter? That was literal suicide.
Yeah.
Like, leaving.
Yes.
Like,
even at the beginning,
obviously,
when they first walk in, and it's like that's where all the alphas hang out, And we know
How
that
would
they're
she
these
think they're
badass, and
there?
she goes, but that's where she might be. Bitch,
Why?
we got a fucking army of zombies in there that could throw a rebar through a damn wall. My God.
Yeah, that
So
was dumb that they're randomly just hiding in a room, in which there's no guard. They're just laying there. There's no door to the room. Like they could have went somewhere to try to run. Like they're just hiding in the corner, all shivering. I can't. I'm so
yeah,
scared. Like so
Yeah.
stupid.
it was it was it was
Why did you bring
definitely
that up?
illogical. Yeah,
Dang it!
it was
Oh,
I was
illogical.
horrible. I love that nitpick. That's a blatant
I mean,
horrible one.
yeah, I don't even know if it's a
They could have
nitpick.
they could have stripped the whole thing out of the movie. Nothing.
That's true.
That's
You
it.
could have kept it. You could have just kept it with them going to get the money. Maybe we just didn't need that relationship. But
Yeah.
or
So
maybe
what
she
did you
could
really
have.
think of the movie?
Okay, yeah, let me get that
I,
into the
I, li- I liked it.
Yeah, I had to get that out because I would have regretted it for the rest of my life if I never did. I need people to know. No, overall, dude, it was a fun movie, and here's the point that I was just thinking of while we were talking about it. Zombie movies have kind of been out for a while. And what I mean is like out of fashion. We don't really see zombie movies, especially big Hollywood ones. Zombies are always popular. We see them in video games, and there's indie films and stuff, but zombies they had that real mainstream era from 2005 to 2015 or something. And then I feel like they kind of tapered off. I didn't think about that. When I was watching this movie, I just had a good time, and it got me kind of excited about zombie stuff again. I was like, oh man, it made me think about it. Zombies are fun to think about. And so whenever they added the thing with the king zombie and the alphas, I was like, oh, this is cool. And it actually did get me I would definitely, hate to say it, but I would definitely watch a sequel to this if, they obviously set a sequel up. All I can say overall was it was fun. It was creative in some senses. It got a little too predictable and cliche at times, but that never hurt the movie to any colossal point. Obviously some of the characters could be a little annoying. None of the characters really, really stood out. I don't remember the names of, I don't think, any characters other than Dieter. And maybe that was just because it was a weird Dutch or German name or whatever. He was cool. Yeah. There was some good scenes. The action's great. So if you want to watch it even just for the action, it's great. It's fun. That's the best I can say. It's a fun movie. And if you like zombie movies, I think you have to watch it. If you're into zombie stuff, if you're a big fan of zombie movies, you got to watch it. It's worth a watch. So.
Yeah, I echo some of the same thoughts. Sometimes I just like a movie that I can kind of turn my brain off and just enjoy. And apparently I kept my brain off for a lot of this review because I couldn't even remember the fucking title. So anyway.
Yes. Call himself out. I love it.
Yeah. So Army of the Dead was a really, really good time. And I could say that this is a movie where if I'm with a group of friends and we want to watch something that is just kind of enjoyable, I think this is definitely a movie that would come to mind. And I think, especially the action scene and near the end, in the casino area with the slot machines, with the dollar bills kind of going around in the background, and Dave Bautista kicking ass, using the gun to sweep the legs of the zombies on the tables, and just the accuracy of the headshots. That was great. I loved every second of that sequence.
Loved it.
It was definitely hype for sure. So that alone, and just the attention to detail when it came to the effects, the gore, makes it worth it just to watch this movie with, maybe not with your family, but maybe with some college buddies of yours, So I think I'd recommend it for sure if you're a horror fan, kind of, well, not slasher, but an action. If you're an action fan, definitely give this a watch.
I mean, there you have it. And I want to just add one last little comment. Let's all remember that this entire zombie outbreak started with a blowjob.
Exactly.
Trey, send us out.
You know what I always say? My granddaddy always told me. That's I'm not- I'm just
You got me
kidding.
all tied in. I was ready to hear it.
No. Hey, before we go, obviously, no, this is not obvious at all. Next week we might have a few treats for you guys. We won't spoil it for you. We're not into spoilers here. But we might have a couple treats in store for you, a couple videos, special videos. But have the lookout for that. Subscribe, like, comment. We love the comments. We love the rivalries going on down there. Let's heat it up, and we'll see you next time on the film Schmucks.
Cut it.
Sorry, I took it from you.